Some religious beliefs feel like they were invented on the spot, yet millions follow them with unwavering loyalty. They survive not because they make sense, but because humans are wired to find meaning, belong to a community, and protect sacred ideas. The mechanisms that keep these beliefs alive are emotional, social, and psychological. People fear social ostracism, punishment in the afterlife, or losing connection with their community if they question the sacred. Take, for example, the veneration of cows in India. Cows aren't just respected, they're treated like gods. They cannot be harmed, killed, or even questioned without risking backlash. Meanwhile, human suffering exists right beside them. Children are malnourished on the streets, families go hungry, and yet the cow, capable of feeding a household for days, wanders freely. In South Korea, some followers of a deceased pastor believe he never truly died. They think he ascended to heaven alive and now rules the world spiritually. Even after his burial, they insist it was a hoax, preaching his eventual return. These beliefs aren't trivial. They reflect deep psychological needs to accept a higher purpose and maintain certainty in a confusing world. In Scientology, the focus is neither poverty, war, nor disease, but invisible alien spirits called thetans. According to the church, 75 million years ago, an alien overlord named Xenu sent billions to Earth, stacked them near volcanoes, and detonated hydrogen bombs. Their spirits allegedly cling to humans today, causing depression and anxiety. The solution is expensive counseling and courses meant to remove them. Celebrities endorse it. Buildings are dedicated to it. People bankrupt themselves pursuing this spiritual cleanup. Similarly, creationist beliefs claim the world is only 6,000 years old. Despite overwhelming evidence from fossils, astronomy, and radioactive dating, adherents insist humans lived alongside dinosaurs, and Noah fit every species onto a wooden boat. Entire school curriculums in some countries are based on these ideas. Belief here doesn't just reject evidence, it shapes how generations learn, think, and interpret reality. Some religious practices turn risk into proof of faith. In a Christian sect, worshippers handle venomous snakes and drink poison, believing that true devotion protects them. Many end up dead or disabled, yet followers interpret this as martyrdom. In Japan, the Aum Shinrikyo cult claimed that their leader could transfer spiritual energy through his photo. Followers drank his bathwater and believed his bodily fluids could heal diseases. Later, the same cult carried out the Tokyo subway sarin attack, but loyalty persisted. In Africa, some believe sleeping with a virgin cures HIV, leading to widespread abuse of children. In Brazil, certain churches treat fast food and soda as Holy Communion. These beliefs may seem absurd or satirical, yet the devotion is sincere. People literally structure their lives around what they consider divine. Native American tribes once believed ritual dance could resurrect ancestors and repel colonizers. At Wounded Knee, the U.S. military killed hundreds, fearing rebellion, yet the belief itself remained untouched by external force. In parts of Russia and Eastern Europe, Orthodox sects reject technology, seeing electricity as demonic. Some bury dolls to curse enemies, cover mirrors to block spirits, or refuse medical treatment for children, trusting God alone. In Papua New Guinea, tribes called cargo cults saw colonists as gods. Even today, some build fake runways and control towers, hoping planes will return with gifts from the ancestors. These examples show a consistent human pattern. When confronted with the unknown, people assign spiritual meaning, creating rituals that dictate daily life and survival strategies. Some phenomena are seen as miracles, no matter the evidence. In Italy, Catholics believe statues of the Virgin Mary cry real tears. Scientists have proven otherwise, yet believers travel worldwide to witness them. In the Philippines, some nailing themselves to crosses during Easter is taken literally, not symbolically, as an act that earns forgiveness. In America, certain churches treat political figures as divinely chosen prophets, interpreting elections, criticism, or scandals as spiritual warfare. In Thailand, a man claiming to be a Buddha reincarnation lives in luxury, smokes, drinks, yet followers ignore this, insisting his spirit is pure. These examples illustrate a common theme. The mind accepts miraculous claims when they reinforce meaning, belonging, or hope. Some practices prioritize communication with the divine through the body or language. Speaking in tongues in the U.S. is considered literal communication with heaven. In Africa, pastors spray insecticide on followers or make them eat grass, claiming it removes sin or drives out demons. In ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities, women cover their hair completely, sometimes with wigs sourced from distant cultures. The purpose is symbolic modesty, but the intensity with which these rules are enforced shows how belief can control everyday life. In Nepal, menstruating women are forced into sheds, isolated from family and food, often dying from exposure or snakes. Here, biology intersects with dogma and adherence overrides safety. Mormon beliefs propose men can become gods after death, ruling planets with multiple wives. Women, conversely, gain status through eternal childbirth. The Amish selectively reject technology, adhering to rules that are arbitrary but framed as spiritual preservation. In South America, claims of statues bleeding are taken seriously despite scientific debunking. In Zoroastrianism, the dead are left on towers of silence to avoid contaminating sacred elements, a practice still observed despite modern health risks. Some Islamic beliefs assert that angels record every thought and judgment comes accordingly. Across these practices, unseen oversight and spiritual monitoring shape daily actions and societal norms. Buddhist sects sometimes mummify monks alive, using toxic herbs to desiccate the body over years of meditation. In some African tribes, twins are worshipped. If one dies, a wooden doll replaces the lost twin, cared for as if alive. In parts of Islam, dogs are seen as spiritually impure, leading to abandonment or abuse. In Christian communities, demons are blamed for conditions like ADHD or autism, resulting in exorcism practices that involve starvation, beatings, or isolation. In Indonesia, man-ini rituals involve exhuming relatives, cleaning, redressing, and taking photos with them. Death becomes negotiable, ritualized, and controlled by belief, often against clear evidence of natural processes. Cults sometimes refuse to acknowledge death. In Florida, a group insisted their immortal leader had ascended to a higher frequency even as her mummified body was discovered wrapped in Christmas lights. Orthodox Christianity holds that bread and wine transform into Jesus' body and blood, a literal interpretation that defies sensory evidence. Some Hindu sects believe humans can reincarnate as animals, promoting compassion for cows while neglecting human suffering. Jehovah's Witnesses refuse blood transfusions, sometimes resulting in death, and some communities treat mental illness as possession rather than medical condition. Heaven's Gate again shows how these beliefs can culminate in coordinated suicide. Relics and objects are often treated as conduits of power. Bones, fingernails, clothing, or dirt associated with saints are kissed, prayed over, or preserved, sometimes with multiple churches claiming the same relic. Hindu beliefs in animal reincarnation create complex moral hierarchies, assigning value based on perceived past lives. In Japan and Thailand, sacred objects or amulets are believed to confer protection or blessings. Tourists and locals alike rub Buddhist statues, thinking this brings prosperity. In South India, walking barefoot across fire or sharp blades is a literal act of devotion. These practices reveal a universal human desire to make faith tangible, to turn the abstract into a ritualized, controlled experience. Miraculous experiences often override evidence. Statues that appear to weep or bleed, hallucinations induced by plants in the Amazon, or messianic leaders in Siberia dictate followers' lives. Voodoo rituals in Haiti induce trance states, interpreted as possession by spirits, guiding decisions. Skepticism is irrelevant. Perception and communal validation are what matter. Across cultures, the human mind interprets coincidence as divine messaging, turning ordinary events into proof of the sacred. Suffering itself is often seen as a path to holiness. Catholic devotees emulate saints who self-flagellate, starve, or sleep on broken glass. In Asia, temple bells are rung hundreds of times to influence fate. Extreme fasting can last days or weeks, sometimes resulting in death framed as purification. Entire communities avoid music, art, and pleasure, equating denial with piety. Physical hardship becomes proof of faith, a lived experience of devotion, and a demonstration that spiritual reward outweighs bodily comfort or survival. Natural and cosmic events are interpreted as divine signs. Ancient China saw eclipses, comets, or earthquakes as messages about imperial legitimacy. Hindu rituals pour milk over idols during droughts, despite children begging outside temples. Chanting, repeated words, or ritualized actions are believed to alter reality, cure illness, or bring luck. In Israel, Rocks have been thrown at cars on the Sabbath to enforce divine law. Across cultures, humans impose sacred meaning on randomness, transforming chaos into signals to guide decisions. Superstition shapes daily behavior. Specific colors, numbers, or dates are believed to influence luck. Children are forced to use their right hand instead of left. Disabled people may be revered or hidden based on spiritual interpretation. Relics, trinkets, or objects connected to the sacred are treated as protective or healing tools. These rituals convert abstract belief into tangible action, shaping choices, social hierarchies, and the sense of control people have over their lives. Faith affects modern politics, health, and social behavior. Some preachers blame natural disasters on moral failings, ignoring science. Vaccine refusal spreads preventable diseases. Political figures are treated as divinely chosen, with criticism seen as blasphemy. Rituals like walking barefoot across fire or paying for blessings guide decisions, sometimes causing harm. Belief shapes behavior, trust, and community organization, showing that even in modern society, faith often overrides logic and evidence. Cults exert extreme psychological control. Heaven's Gate convinced followers to commit suicide. In Siberia, a self-proclaimed messiah dictated daily life, money, and family relations. Indoctrination, ritual, and charismatic leadership transform ordinary humans into willing participants in extreme acts. Here, belief functions as social glue, moral code, and psychological framework, often overriding instinct and self-preservation. Even when disproven, beliefs persist. The flat earth, miraculous bleeding statues, or divine communication with leaders continues to influence daily life. People prioritize tradition, ritual, and community reinforcement over observable evidence. Faith becomes not just a set of ideas, but a lens through which reality is interpreted, defended, and lived, regardless of external validation. Religious teachings can dictate moral, social, and legal norms. Children are taught obedience before critical thinking. Ritual, repetition, and fear cement ideas. Belief systems define social roles, gender hierarchies, and power structures. Women, for instance, may be barred from leadership, speaking, or even presence in sacred spaces, based purely on doctrine. Millions follow these rules unquestioningly, demonstrating the enduring influence of inherited faith. Sacred rivers like the Ganges are venerated despite extreme pollution. Pilgrims travel hundreds of miles, submerging themselves and infants, trusting spiritual purification over scientific warning. Original sin, blood sacraments, and ritualized suffering teach obedience from childhood, often under threat of eternal punishment. These practices reveal how deeply symbolic narratives can dominate lives, making abstract concepts like sin, karma, or divine favor concrete and urgent. Despite centuries of progress in the advance of science, belief remains a defining human force. Absurd or dangerous practices survive because they are taught early, reinforced through ritual, and embedded within communities. Faith shapes laws, politics, and personal choices. Humans pursue certainty, control, and connection to the transcendent through these narratives. What is considered sacred today may be questioned tomorrow, yet the impulse to believe, follow, and seek meaning beyond ourselves will continue to guide humanity for generations to come.